There's a lot going on, and yes, this is another late live stream because I have been meeting and talking with a number of people. I did an earlier live stream on the A's issue. I went to the administrative headquarters of the Peralta Community College District. My live stream of late was called Laney College Site for Oakland A's Ballpark Stopped by Peralta College Board. Action not a surprise. And no, it was not. And if you are joining us, hey Barry Lee, how are you? If you're joining us and don't know what I'm talking about, the Oakland Athletics have been on a quest for quite some time for a new stadium in the Bay Area. First, they tried to go to San Jose, but were halted by Major League Baseball's desire to have them in Oakland more than anything else. And that is coupled with the fact that the A's in San Jose puts them basically right in the ticket sales market for the San Francisco Giants. According to a study that was written some time ago, but still applies, in 2001, if memory serves, and it does, 47% of the Giants' ticket-buying fan base comes from that part, from the South Bay of a Bay Area, of which San Jose is arguably the capital, okay? So, Major League Baseball didn't want to cut into the Giants' seed corn. The Giants have their own privately financed stadium, save for a little redevelopment assistance, and they're trying, and still are trying, to keep every penny. Oh, Barry Lee, if you're going to tweet this out, the hashtag should be hashtag Oakland. Actually, you can do more than one hashtag. Hashtag Oakland, hashtag Oakland A's, AS. And then hashtag MLB, because now you have, what, 240 characters now instead of 280 characters instead of 140. Yeah, so we have more. But, so anyway, for reasons that have not been directly explained to me, because I haven't talked to Dave Cavall about them, but the A's are made clear in their statements and in their designs preliminarily, is that they favored for some time the Peralta site. The mayor wanted them at Howard Terminal. What people have to understand, and I'm going to say this straight up and straight out, is that everything today that you're seeing is driven by one thing: gentrification. The problem here, you have to live here and understand how acute this problem really is. You really do. It affects everything and everyone, and it has led to a record number of depressions. This is anecdotally. It has caused people to basically move out of the area where they could find housing. It's caused others to double up. It has led to crime in areas that, well, you know, it shouldn't have happened in terms of robberies and that sort of thing. Now you have just unusual snatch and grabs that are going on. And while admittedly the crime rate isn't as high, and that's really due to the same gentrification issue we're talking about, people moving out who can't afford it. Maybe some of those were doing things they shouldn't have been doing, you know, to make ends meet, right? But we still have that problem. We have an enormous haves versus have-nots problem that permeates this society in a way I have never seen in my entire life in this city, let alone my entire life, period, okay? And so it's got nothing to do with declining enrollments. It's got nothing to do with that. Again, I'm telling you, And if you don't listen, you're a fucking fool. The problem here is simply the housing costs are enormous. Enormous. And I don't mean housing like mortgage. I mean just rents. I talked to a friend who's a major developer. We had cocktails earlier this week. Known him for a long time. The average rent at units he has is $3,152 in Oakland. That's average. That's the average monthly apartment rent that he's able to command. And we talked about it, and I said, well, you know, what about affordable housing? Okay. What about affordable housing? All right. And it's not that the A's are providing affordable housing. Again, you don't understand. You really don't understand how bad this problem is. We have had, now this is 2017, and since redevelopment dried up in 2011, redevelopment happened to dry up at the very time we experienced, particularly in Oakland, a population boom, because thanks to Oakland Mayor Jerry Brown and his 2 terms, the institutional investor racism that plagued Oakland faded away. In other words, let me put it in simple terms. White folks didn't want to spend money in black Oakland, all right? That problem is gone. Of course, Oakland is less black than it used to be. Think about it. Think about it. The problem was so bad in terms of not just institutional investor racism, but racism, that when I wrote my study, African Americans in San Francisco from 1960 to 1990, basically, when I wrote my study, it was common among the migration patterns that I analyzed for the greatest migration pattern to be from one county to the next. For example, you know, San Francisco, I mean, as opposed to out migration from, you know, that county to someplace outside the Bay Area, right? But I mean, just the adjacent county, okay? That was true in San Francisco in every case, like San Francisco to San Mateo, San Francisco to Marin, but you would think that would apply to San Francisco and Alameda County, which is across the Bay Bridge, right? No. People would leapfrog Alameda County to go to Contra Costa County, which is over the hill from Oakland. Why? Because they didn't want to be in mostly black Oakland. You should see the numbers. It was crazy. You know, I looked at that and it made me think about society differently. I thought, wow, there's numerical proof of this kind of racism. But Oakland doesn't have that anymore. Now people come to Alameda County, they come to Oakland. They come to Oakland from San Francisco in search of cheaper housing, but they have money, and so they make the cheaper housing more expensive. On top of that, because we've had a shortage of housing, because we didn't have the kind of developer assistance we had when redevelopment was active before Jerry Brown killed it. Yeah, we had market rate housing, but we didn't have enough affordable housing. So what you get is what we are dealing with. And the problem is enormous. And I don't care if someone says, well, the A's are going to do. It's not enough. The A's, we're not going to be able to walk in and just solve the problem on their own. Okay? This problem is giant. It is giant-sized. No other way to put it. No other way to put it. We have the highest apartment rents in the United States. All right? No other place. We have the highest, I mean the highest. John Marks, I want you to listen to this. You're talking about Vegas. I want you to zero in on what I'm talking about here. Okay? Right here. I want people to understand this. Because the A is miscalculated. Massively. The problem, when you have, and it's right in my previous video, if you watched it, okay? You have students, when I would ask them, one student says, hey, look, it's gentrification. Random guy was going into the Peralta Community College administrative offices, all right? I said, hey, what do you think about the whole A's issue? And he says, wait, what does that mean? Did they vote already? I said, no, they didn't vote. But the A's are not, the board has said to the chancellor not to talk to the A's. He goes, woohoo! It was random people. I couldn't find anybody in support of the A's being there. No one. That was crazy, okay? That was crazy. And that's when I understood firsthand, when you just have people, random people around telling you that. I mean, it's one thing for me to read a listserv like Glenn Friends here, and you have people who are dyed-in-the-wool progressives who are against it. That's progressive, right? When you have people who don't have any particular political care, I mean, beyond, a dislike for Donald Trump, just not being for it because of the housing problem, that tells you enough. You have people trying to go to school at a community college who are trying to get a degree to better their lives because they're not making enough money at their current jobs, which would allow them to afford a better home than the one they're living in. And they're worried about keeping that one because, the rents keep getting jacked up on them. And so the council here has literally put a moratorium on evictions wherever it could. It's been a constant battle between the providers of dwellings and the government. But Jerry, you want to blame somebody. Now, people said, well, they blame Libby Schaaf. Blaming the mayor is stupid because it's beyond the mayor. Peralta Community College Board is not ran by the city of Oakland. A number of you think it is. It's not. Okay? It's not. The Peralta Community College Board is its own animal. Of course, it has to deal with the city in terms of common permits and everything else, in terms of building, right? But in terms of its future, where it spends its money for schools and everything, hey, look, it's its own animal. The Community College Board of elected officials gets chosen by the public, separate from the Oakland City Council. Because I had one, person basically saying to me, oh, hey, hey, what did this person say to me? That you had people who were not understanding the problems that others were facing on a day-to-day basis. All right, so now I'll get to your comments, okay? Let's see here. Oh, let's see. Twitter Barry, okay, cool. Nice to see you. Welcome, everyone. Brian says he agrees with John Marks. He says, stop the NFL, Mark Davis, and the local Raiders going to Vegas. I'm not talking about that right now. Brian sees Vegas is trying to steal our teams. Vegas is... Crawford 371 is right. Vegas is fake news. And Barry Lee says, Brian sees top. Yeah, I would really appreciate it, Brian. I mean, I don't need someone trying to, fake pump up my ego who really isn't Brian C. I think I actually know who you are, Ken Houston. But anyway, the whole point is that, does anybody have a question about the A's? Because I'm focusing on that. I'm not focusing on Vegas right now. There isn't any new Vegas news. And I remind you, the GOP tax bill has a poison pill regarding the attempted use of tax-exempt financing on stadiums, which makes Major League Baseball, the NFL, and other sports leagues' desires that much more expensive. Okay, so where we are. We're here. All right. Harry Dunn says, I still don't see the downside in engaging in negotiations with the A's and see what they have to offer. Harry, I don't know where you got the idea that the A's weren't talking to Peralta. They were. The board asked the chancellor to stop. Okay, they'd already been talking. The A's didn't just come in and say we're going to go there without talking. Okay, the board ordered the chancellor to stop negotiations. It wasn't like the A's hadn't gotten started, but the talks were preliminary. I mean, the A's didn't just come up and say, okay, we want to do this and we're not going to talk to you. That's not how they handled it. You understand? Okay? So, but Harry, do you understand? Oh, Jesus Christ. Harry, Peralta Community College controls Laney College. You're under the impression the two didn't talk at all. That's not, I don't know where you got that idea from, but it's wrong. Okay? It's wrong. They did. And they have been, and Dave Cavall has done that. But what they haven't done is entered into formal negotiations to move. There's informal and formal. Do you understand? Harry? John Mark says, if I was Laney College Chancellor, Peralta Community College Chancellor, Laney is one of the campuses within it. Laney just happens to be the campus where the A's wanted to go. But it's Peralta that makes the decisions for Laney. I need you to understand that, because I don't think you all understand how this works out, how this works. And where we are in society, I know, some of you are not going to like me saying this, but you're not, this is an interesting comment by Donald Richards. Donald says, I decided 7 years ago to never raise rents, my properties, other than for raising state tax costs to own rental properties. I'm trying to do part by keeping COLA down. Donald Richards is a model example. And Brian says, sorry, guys, I got it. Gary Bailey says, where's the reaction by local leaders? I'm going to read that to you right now. And Harry says, the whole vote was for Peralta to enter negotiations with the Oakland A's, and they denied that. No, that wasn't the vote. Jesus Christ. No vote was taken. Okay? And my point is, they've already talked. You're under the, I don't know, they've already talked. The talks have been ongoing for some time. I mean, maybe put it more blunt to you. It's something called misreporting, okay? There's something called misreporting. There have been hearings on this already. There have been discussions already. There have been talks already, okay? There are people who saw this train going down the path and wanted it to stop. And Harry, I don't think you get that. So, that's right. Peralta, he was told to cease. In other words, hey, you're talking to him, stop talking to him. It's not don't talk to them before you talk to them. It was, hey, stop. Okay? All right? But no, Laney, and okay. And John Mark says, okay, Laney College is out. Where do the A's go from here? Well, it may not necessarily be that they're out. As I have discovered, as I've been reminded, it's that basically Peralta wants to steer its own destiny. So there may very well be a way to get back in it. Maybe. Okay? Maybe. And I have no intention of creating false hope. I am simply saying that this is politics, and what I ask a lot of you to understand, in fact, I really beg of you to understand, demand you understand it, not beg, demand, is that this is where politics in and of itself is a profession. And you have to build coalitions. You can't be a hater. You can't talk about how much you hate this person or that person, because you're going to have to go to this person or that person for help. All right? And that's where a lot of people fail. And they give up, they throw up their hands and say that, bad things and, derogatory things about somebody else. And they wind up mentally pushing themselves out to water, never to be seen again. Bye-bye. Because you know what? People who are involved, they don't care about your haterism. A hater, you cannot be a hater and be a doer at the same time. Because in order to be a doer, you have to talk to people. You have to build coalitions. I said that last night. I'm repeating it again, all right? Oaklanders want the A's at Coliseum City, okay? Material Ross article is dead, is wrong. Okay, you accept them as gospel, they're wrong. Okay? The A's had already been talking, because you have to talk to somebody in order to let them know what your intentions are. Okay? There are a difference between formal and informal negotiations. I know Phil Material and Andy Ross. I've known them since 1993. I don't need to go to them. If anything, they can talk to me, because I know development better than they do. All right? So my point is simply, okay, that they were already talking. And I don't want anybody to think, because it's really insulting. Not only is it insulting to the A's, but it would imply the A's were stupid enough to do. I mean, the A's went down. You have to understand, they did survey studies and analysis, drawings, everything else. You can't get all that information without working with the Peralta Community College District. And anybody who does that is stupid. If you do that, and then you walk in and you expect to talk to the chancellor or be allowed to just because you're going to do this thing and you're the A's, you're stupid. The A's did not do that. That's not how you build. That's not how you do development. Okay? You do your studies, you do your analysis, and you get to a point where you are ready to enter formal negotiations. Formal negotiations. What do formal negotiations lead to? They lead to what are called disposition and development agreements, just like we're talking about with Vegas. A formal negotiation, which starts and is ongoing, because then you have the architect. Look, the mayor at her fundraiser last night that I went to said she saw the designs for the ballpark at Laney College. They'd gotten that far. She knows what it was supposed to look like. It had gotten that far. Okay. So Donald says too many handshake deals in the Bay Area. That's not gonna do a handshake deal. Vincent says, do you think the A's could move to another city, and if so, which one? I don't think the A's can easily move anywhere with the GOP tax bill. And not only that, and again, I'm asking you to step out of your hater clause, okay? And what I'm saying is that if you, look, has anyone out there ever tried to sell anything? Okay? Otis B says, even though I'm a Giants fan, you kind of do feel bad for the A's here. We'll see if they look to Howard Terminal site to build their new ballpark or the Coliseum. I know they don't want to be at the Coliseum, but a number of people want them at the Coliseum. The problem here, again, is you cannot run a sports organization successfully and not listen to the electorate when it's telling you something. All right? You can't do that, okay? And I don't believe that Oakland's going to lose all of its teams. And the reason I don't is because of the number of people that are involved here who are already activated. Not just Don Parada or Ignacio De La Fuente or the mayor or myself or PG&E. There are a lot of people energized here. I mean, they're like, woo, okay? This place is buzzing, man. So if you're going to be a hater in this environment, you're being stupid. This is the best time to be involved in Oakland, particularly with respect to the A's. No one wants the A's to leave. But the A's have to understand that you can't look, it's the old Rolling Stones song. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometime, you might find you get what you need. That's exactly where we are today. Richardson says, I think Coliseum is a great site, right? And there is no political, Harry Dunn says there's no political leadership backing the Coliseum. But, and so my point is that, hey, look, there are a lot more sites. There's a lot more possibilities. There's a possibility that the A's could wind up in Fremont. There's a possibility that they could wind up out in Concord. There is a possibility that they could be at Howard Terminal, because the door at Howard Terminal was never sufficiently closed. Okay? It never was. Fremont, I mentioned, but it's still problematical because of its proximity to the Giants and their ballpark. And considering that the Giants are not the draw they used to be, I don't see the Giants giving that. I don't see the Giants letting the A's walk anywhere close to their market anytime soon. I'm pointing out a possibility that someone else is going to mention. Even if they're not serious about it, it's just to say, okay, well, here's a possible option. Watch. But Howard Terminal should be the focus. But if it's not, here, okay, Even if it's not, it could be Victoria. It could be Victoria Court, Victory Court. It could be Victory Court, and that's Jack London Square. So they didn't get Laney College. They move over to Victory Court or Howard Terminal. So you've got 3 options. Not just one. You have 3 options. One of which right now is dead. That's Laney. You have Victory Court and Howard Terminal. So it's by no means is this effort dead by any stretch of the imagination, and to present otherwise is purely silly. It just is. John Marks asks, Harry Does says, I'm not being a hater, just being a realist watching Oakland sports talk over the past 20 years. But that's watching. My point is, there's watching and there's doing. And I'm saying there's enough desire to do here to cause that not to happen. And, you have to thank the A's for that, because the A's, move forward with it. But see, there was something that I had supined some time ago, and I said on a blog, and I said, hey, maybe the A's, because we kept speculating. I kept speculating. Why would the A's choose Laney? And I said I wasn't for it, or I wanted Howard Terminal. And, some of you are like, come on, Zinni, jump on the bandwagon, all right? But the reason why I didn't jump on the bandwagon is because, as I said before, we've been here before. We were here in 2000 when this idea was first floated, not by the A's, but by a consultant. And HOK, all right, Helmut the Bat and Castlebaum. We've been here before. And so I thought, to me, it was asking for trouble to just basically kind of poke that hornet's nest again at a time when housing costs are much worse than they were then. But that's what David Cavall did. And for a time, when he said, hey, we're going to negotiate with the board, and it seemed like he had the board politics all wrapped up, okay? Which means in order to have board politics wrapped up, you have to talk, all right? I thought, man, the dude's a Svengali. Awesome. And I was like, whoa, if he can make this happen, he can walk on water. That's how it looked. Okay? That's how it looked. But Barry Lee says, we're the initial cost projections on the house terminal site. The land prep over there is about 150, 160 million. Hey, Big April, how are you? Yeah, stick around. What else did I miss? Otis B says the Giants could let the A's have Fremont. The Giants just don't want the A's to touch San Jose. But here's my question, Otis. With Bart Warm Springs now finished, okay, and Bart quite literally steamrolling a path towards San Jose, making it easier to reach an A's ballpark there than it was when the idea of the A's in San Jose was initially floated. Why won't the Giants express even more concern that their fan base could be more easily dragged down to the A's rather than in San Francisco? All right, you see my point? If I were the Giants, I would have that concern. I would say, you know what? Stay in Oakland. You go down there, you're messing with our seed corn. I may not want $5 million a year from you, but I'm going to want maybe $2 or $3 million a year from you because I believe that you're going to touch my fan base. And not only that, say, hey, the Major League rules say you're supposed to stay in the East Bay. That's perilously close to my side of the bay, pal. Stay away. Just saying. If I'm the Giants, that's how I'm looking at it. Now, will the Giants look at it like that? I'll find out. Crawford says Howard Terminal can provide him home field advantage with the weather, I guess. Yeah, Otis B says, yeah, I think that's a good point. I don't think about that. John Marks says he's forming a Oakland's pro sports task force. But John, how can you do that when you live in Kelso, Washington? I'm just being honest. Okay, okay. John Marks says I thought Fremont was East Bay. Fremont is East Bay, but this requires a map. It's like, okay, from your point of view, this is, and I'm turning it around. You've got Oakland, or I should say you have San Francisco and Oakland, okay? Here. This is San Jose. Fremont is here. All right? You have Fremont, South Fremont, Warm Springs, Milpitas, all right, in this area. This is the South Bay. This is close to the county line. That's close to the county line between Alameda County and I believe it's Santa Clara. This is close to the county line. So, all right. Oh, John says you're moving back in 2018. Well, hurry up, man. I got you, Big Eightful. Thank you. Harry Dunn says, I think it's Coliseum or bust, honestly. And I think you're right, Harry. I think you're right. Donald Richardson says, put the A's in San Leandro, call it a day. I say Victory Court. In fact, let's take a look at that, folks. Victory Court. Oakland A's. Victory Court. Okay. It won't allow me to zoom in like I want to. And I want to zoom in more. Let's see here. Oh. Okay, here we go. Here are our options, all right? This is what our options were before. This was the A's pulled. This was the Peralta site, okay, that the Oakland A's shocked everybody with. Okay? Right here, excuse me. Right here. Right there, okay? This is Victory Court, where people wanted them to go. All right? That's the limit. This is on the other side of the freeway. Victory Court's on the other side of the freeway. Okay? That's Embarcadero, and that's the Nimitz, and that's Victory Court. All right? This is called Jack London North. All right? Jack London North is where this is Broadway right here. You go up 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. This is Jack London North. And this is Howard Terminal. So I'm laying out for you, these are the full list. You have 4 options. You have Peralta Laney College, Victory Court, Jack London North, and Howard Terminal. The Coliseum's further down south. All right? So that's what the real picture looks like. And so it's not, so Oakland has options. It's not that that's dead. It wasn't like, it's not Coliseum or bust or Laney College or bust. All right. So Oakland has options. Still. Okay. Pedro Collardo, how are you? Pedro says, so no one makes baseball, football stadiums anymore? No, they don't. Wouldn't it be cool if Oakland rebuilt the Coliseum? It would be. And I'm all for that. And I misstated something. You said no one builds baseball, football, multi-purpose stadiums. Well, Super Bowl 52 is about to be played in a multi-purpose stadium. The U.S. Bank Stadium. Because it's designed to have baseball. It has the Minnesota Golden Gophers baseball team in it. And, of course, the Minnesota Vikings football team plays in it. So it's not that it isn't doable. It's very much doable. It's just that a lot of teams have wanted to have their own facilities. But in an era of rising housing costs, I'm going to predict that we actually go back to the multi-purpose stadium. Just because it's more costly, because there are ways, and U.S. Bank Stadium proved, to make a multi-purpose stadium cost efficient and a better revenue generator because of its design. So I'm not ready to call the multi-purpose stadium dead, and I think a multi-purpose stadium at the Coliseum, like what U.S. Bank has, would be incredible. What we need to have that we haven't had is a series of public design charrettes that gives the public a chance to weigh in on where the A should go and what it would look like. And we've never done that. We've had consultant studies and maps, but what I'm talking about is you get a contest with a series of architects. You have a budget, a design build budget, and of 400, 500 million. What you do is you let students at UC Berkeley work with real architects and come up with a design concept. And they let the public see it. And I mean buildable designs. I don't mean pie in the sky stuff. I mean stuff that you can build so that people can really test out different configurations and methods and approaches and land use approaches too, okay? We need to start thinking about this in that way, and as a door to being able to reshape our city. So so I hope that answers your question, Pedro. Big April says, put the A's in Emeryville if they can hold them. Where? Oldest B says, the multi-purpose stadiums do make more sense, to be honest. Cities just don't have the space to have multiple new stadiums in one area. And Donald Richards says, Berkeley bias. I don't know. What do you mean, Donald? I'm curious. Rick Gray, how you doing, Rick? Rick says, what's going on with Kaiser Center and the arena? That building has been closed and nothing going on for years. How many acres is that? That is, the Kaiser Center, off the top of my head, is about 7 acres. Okay? So 8 acres. 8 acres, about an 8-acre footprint. It is about roughly the size of the Pantheon in Athens. All right? It's roughly about that size. Hasn't been used at all. I believe it has some historic significance in it. Historic significance, so it would be difficult to raise it. In terms of building a ballpark there, that's problematic because of the fact that it's right next to the Oakland Museum. It's basically part of the Oakland Museum. On one side. On the other side, it has East 12th Street, East 14th Street, excuse me. That butts up right up against it. And then it has the waters that lead out to the bay on the other side. And so in total, it doesn't present so you have to think about parking, right? In total, it doesn't present the best option, and then you still have to deal with the Providence Community College District because you're encroaching upon how their students are impacted. Even if the entire amount of land isn't theirs, you do impact easements with respect to what Peralta owns. So it's still a dicey situation there, to the point where it's not doable. Let's see here. James, oh, I'm sorry, James. I missed your question. Where is it? I'm going to go back. I'm going back to see it. I didn't see it before. I apologize, Mr. McClendon. Let me go back and find it. And I don't see it. If you could copy it and then paste it again, that would be fantastic. I apologize for missing your question, James. Okay. What is your question? Because I don't see your question. I've got Big Eightfuls, Pedro's, John Marx's, Harry Dunn. He says, I thought Victory Court was too small for a ballpark, in acres for a ballpark. And Harry, I'll re-look at that myself. And so, but I don't see, but James McClendon, if I can see your question regarding what happened to your last question, it means you can just simply repost your question. Okay, so just, repost your question, all right? So anyway, okay. So there. John Wishes says, oh, he's, okay, well, look, James, I find it hard to believe that James is trolling me. If you're trolling me, James, then I'm gonna have to ask the moderators to get to X you out. Otherwise, you have a question, please ask it. Okay, because I don't have time. So, and I don't normally associate you with that kind of behavior. So I don't want to have anybody take that action against you. If you have a question, just simply ask the question. Okay? Okay? So, well, I guess hey, looks like the moderator was spoken. Well, moderators were spoken. Okay, fine. Onward. Thanks, John Marks. Next question. Thank you, folks. Next question. All right. So, thank you very much. Now, Victory Court. I think, Harry, you were talking about Victory Court size, right? Let me see something here about Victory Court. Let's see here. Victory Court. New college ballpark, new track. 16th Street, 7th Street. Let's see, I don't want to do that. View image. All right. Yeah, that's the Victory Court site. Okay. This, all right. This was what was envisioned for the A's, and this is a very old rendition, the A's at Laney. That's the Victory Court site. This is the Nimitz Freeway, okay? That's the Victory Court site. I haven't seen a mock-up of the stadium as it would look there. Someone says, well, it looks like it would be too small, but I don't see that at all. You know what I would love, frankly, is somebody ought to buy the Uber building, raise the Uber building, and build the A Stadium right there where the old Sears building was. Hey, I'm serious, you know, keep the facade and build the baseball stadium right there in that thing. I like that idea. You say, what am I talking about? This is what I'm talking about, folks, all right? I'm talking about this. This is from my Sports Business Simulations website, all right? This is the ballpark right here. That's Telegraph. This is the old Sears building. So quite obviously, the old Sears building isn't big enough. We would have to have, this is the building that Uber's bought, all right? So obviously, we need more space. But imagine, well, let's see. Could we do that? No, we can't do it. There's not enough space. This is taken up. This opportunity was taken away from us by Jerry Brown. Oh, well, so much for the idea. Can't do it. Too small, can't do it. But had to investigate it, right? Too small, can't do it. All right. This is Victory Court. And the court is dead for now. It does look like it's Coliseum or bust. It really does. Wait a second. Or maybe, hey, you know what? You know who in this very well, if he can get Guilmetti, if Deshaun can get Guilmetti to work with him, Deshaun might have a chance to get back into the fray. All right? He just might have that chance. He just might. So hopefully, we might getting him back involved in this with his design. Hopefully he's a bit more flexible this time. Uh-oh. Am I having problems here with this? Okay, hold on a second, folks. I think the stream quit on me there, and now it's coming back. So I don't know if you're still around or not. It says it's live. Hold on a second. lays and bees and germs and everything else. Hold on a second. All right, let me see something. Hold on a second, folks. I'm just checking. You can see me? Oh, you can see me? Can you see me? All right. You can see me, Barry. That's good. Let me check. I need to check something with the battery status. Cool. I'm live. There was a little bit of a hiccup there. Sorry about that, folks. But, you know, have to check. Have to check. Have to check. All right. So I'm back and you're there. Rob Iman says, how much would it cost to renovate the Coliseum to baseball only? $550 million. Otis B says, Raiders in Vegas. If Vegas doesn't work out, maybe they move back to Oakland. The Warriors would still be in SF and the A's would be somewhere in Oakland. Okay. John Marks, ICU TV 36. Okay. Yes, you see. Yes, see you. And Rick Rice says, hey, Zinster, where do you see Oakland sports teams in 10 years? I see the A's here. I see pro football here. And I see basketball in San Francisco. And I see pro soccer here. And I see... That's what I see. And I see esports as emerging. I see us as late to the esports party because you have, what, 70 or 80,000 people coming to esports events in Beijing. That's crazy. You know, we don't have a sports commission that really sits down and plans out our sports future. We don't think about sports as an industry here. Atlanta does, which is why Atlanta kicks our tail. But we don't. I'm the only person in Oakland history to start a sports commission, the Oakland Alameda County Sports Commission, and perhaps it's high time to start it again. Rick Gray says, Zinni, that picture you just showed was from the HOK report that mentioned the Peralta Laney site is the worst of the 7 sites to build. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. And John Mark says, how much is the Uber building? Well, they bought it for $140 million, and I think the sale price is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of double that. Vincent says, not to be that guy again, but the Disney thing is on his mind. Okay, fine, but I'm not going to talk about it because no one's done anything. Now, Don Rich says, yeah, we already made it and known here. If you want to question or statement be read, use a super chat, fellas. Oh yeah, hey, you know, I can read. You don't have to use the super chat now unless you just want to invest, right? I can see your questions on, and I thank you, Don Richards, for doing that. But look, I can now see your statements here, right? When I was outside, I didn't have this luxury of seeing this, okay? So just want to make it known to you. I wasn't just trying to get you to invest or anything. I was just saying, hey, look, and when I'm outside and I'm on the smartphone and you get put a paragraph-long question out there, a statement, it fades very quickly, and I can't read all of it unless you use Super Chat to make it stick longer. All right. Big Grace says, the Kaiser Center has just a great view of the lake. The Coliseum has 106 acres. Worries are the populace would use it on 9 game days, and I say build it, and they'll come. Barry Lee says, no, Zinni, it was the arena and Kaiser building. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. The arena. Wait, what are you referring to? The arena and Kaiser building? Because there's the arena. The arena is next to the Oakland Museum, and then there's the Kaiser Convention Center, which is downtown. Okay. Donald Richardson says, whatever happened, this is Donald Richardson, whatever happened to Ignacio de la Fuente? He was a developing wizard in Oakland. He's on the JPA, and he keeps saying he's going to run for mayor, but he hasn't filed any papers. Let me see if things have changed. You know, all these folks that say they're going to run for mayor and they haven't done anything. to do it, you know, including me. But then I turn around and say, hey, look, I'm not going to run. I did say that. I'm not going to run. I changed my mind. As far as, let's see here. Dave Caval's tweet sounds like he's almost wants to cry. And I feel for him just reading this. Okay? It's a statement. We are shocked by Peralta's decision not to move forward. No, move forward. All we wanted to do was enter into a conversation about how to make this work for all of Oakland, Laney, and the Peralta Community College District. We are disappointed that we will not have that opportunity. Okay. Now, the Peralta Community College Board statement, Peralta, let's see here, later, okay. All right. Peralta. Oh, and then someone says, what do elected officials say? And I'll read that in a minute. Okay. College. Okay. And let's see here. A statement from the chancellor. Here it is. Okay. Is that it? And yes. At a special meeting on December 5th, 2017, Chancellor Laguerre provided the Board of Trustees with an update on the terms of the Community Engagement Plan. Note, this is an update, which means that it's been in progress. The board provided direction to the Chancellor to discontinue planning for a community engagement process on a possible baseball stadium. The district will work with its students, faculty, staff, administrators, and community to reimagine the district's needs and assess the resources to meet them. We will develop a robust and inclusive engagement process to assess our needs and partnerships align with our mission. The Board of Trustees will continue due diligence in determining the costs and benefits of potential development. We look forward to continued partnerships that will enrich the learning experience of our students in the community we have served for more than 50 years. Chancellor Jalisi Laguerre, PhD, December 6th, 2017. So there's that statement. Now, here is a statement from Oakland Councilmember Rebecca Kaplan. Of course, I believe you heard Mayor Schaaf's statement earlier today. This is Rebecca's statement. Excuse me. Kaplan. Oops, excuse me. Oops. Kaplan. Waiting. There. Okay. Response regarding A's Ballpark. In response to the news that the Peralta Community College Board has decided not to approve use of their site for an A's Ballpark, Oakland City Council member Rebecca Kaplan, who represents the entire city of Oakland and was on the Oakland County Coliseum Joint Powers Authority, released the following statement. I believe we should work on options for the A's at the Coliseum site. The Coliseum site already has a BART station with large capacity, and the pedestrian walkway could be improved, both to make it larger and to make it more attractive and welcoming. The Coliseum site has easy access to the airport, the freeway, BART, rail, Amtrak Capital Corridor, and is already approved with CEQA clearance. That's true. The site could house a new A's ballpark along with shops, bars, restaurants, and hotels to create a vibrant and successful environment. Since the Peralta site will have required Lake Merritt BART station expansion and roadway freeway changes, it seems we could have an affordable and financially viable option at the Coliseum, which won't have those extra costs. the fact that environmental clearance is already completed, for the Coliseum site, which would also provide cost savings and time savings for development at that site. Best wishes, Rebecca Kaplan, Oakland City Council member at large. So there's Rebecca. I haven't got anything from Abel Guillen. Let me see if he's put something on Twitter. Bear with me for a second. Why you say Abel Guillen? He is the District 2 Council member. That's Laney College's area. So let's see what Abel, if anything, has to say. It would be nice if he did have something to say. Let's see here. Search Twitter, ABLGUILEN, Guillen. Hit the guillotine. Just kidding. Abel Guillen. All right. Pin tweet. Nope. And then December 1st. He's got nothing here. Nothing. Nothing. Oh, he's got absolutely nothing. Abel acts more like he's concerned about the border wall and doing business with Trump. He has nothing posted about the A's ballpark here. He's got a bunch of stuff about banning, doing work with border wall contractors. He handed out turkey to Sarah Huang and Gordon Wu at his third Thanksgiving basket giveaway, where he's wearing his cow jacket. Go Bears. Hey, I may have some issues with how Abel handles this or that, but hey, he's a cow brother. Go Bears. So, yeah. So that's it. Nothing from the Oakland District 2 Council member. How about that? Now, could I see arena football in Oakland? Oh, yes, I could, Barry. Thank you. Otis B says pro soccer. I guess it would be kind of interesting to see a Bay Area rival to the Earthquakes. It would be. Rick Rice says esports is the future. Yes, indeed, Mr. Rice. Otis B. I remember the Warriors and the A's games on KICU 36 back in the day. So do I. 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 And see, Dave Cavall says was probably heartbroken. This was in a way his project. It was, yeah. Rick Rice says, I think Zinni would be a great mayor. Thank you. It's not my time, but thank you. I think I would be a great mayor too. I think I'd be a fantastic mayor of Oakland, but the timing's just not right. It just isn't. And so, hey, there you go. Otis says, if Zinni ever becomes the mayor of Oakland, I would definitely remember him being on YouTube. Zinni, would you want to become mayor of San Francisco when Ed Lee's term ends? I don't live in San Francisco. And Rick Rice says, are we going to talk about football tonight? Just asking. Not tonight, tomorrow, because this was a red letter day here, Rick. Just impossible to ignore. So I want to focus on this as much as possible. It's unfolding. We didn't expect to be here. I mean, look, everybody thought the A's train was out the door and on the track, and right? So it's not. It's not. So we're quite literally back to square one. Okay, so. But thanks for asking, all right. Rob says, I wonder if the Giants were involved in any way. I'm going to go kick over every stone and find out. Eric Madison says, go for it. He says, any time about, okay, I might do that. Talking about the Sports Commission. John Marks wants to bring back the Oakland Stompers. And let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see, the Coliseum or site of relocation, says Rob. No, that's not true, Rob. Got a lot of options. Got a lot of options here. John Marks says, what did Miss Lippy Shaft say? I have her statement, and basically it was, she may have posted it on, I have the text version. I have it from a text message, okay? But getting the text message would involve me, you know, possibly shutting down this live stream. But here, guess what? I don't have to do that because it's on her Twitter account, and it reads as follows. It says, Oakland remains fiercely determined to keep the Athletics in Oakland. It is unfortunate the discussion with Peralta ended so abruptly, yet we're committed more than ever to working with the A's and our community to find the right spot in Oakland for a privately financed ballpark. And you know, Harry Dunn he kept saying, well, they haven't talked, and no, they have. They're already talking. So all right, so there you go. Okay. And again, I'm trying to get an interview with the chancellor lined up. So before I leave town and go back to Georgia. So stay tuned for that, okay? I've got a request into the chancellor via the PIO, the Public Information Officer, all right? Hey, good night, Barry Lee. Thank you for helping. Thank you for being the mensch that you are. Rob Wyman says, I know the Giants would celebrate if the A's ended up relocating. They shouldn't be, Rob, because many of the Giants' best games were against in terms of attendance, were against the A's. Why would they celebrate that? That's ridiculous. Don Rich says he speaks facts. Yep. Otis says, not sure, Rob. The Battle of the Bay. Yeah, see, the Battle of the Bay will be gone. Thank you, Otis, for putting that out. Rob, I can't disagree. I can't agree with you. But hey, Rick Rice says A's need Jose Canseco to come back. Otis B says the only thing is, where would the A's move? Greg Papa and Bona Hill brought up Portland, but I'm not sure. Look, you know what? I wouldn't listen to them because the A's have options right here in Oakland. Again, you've got Howard Terminal, Jack London North, Victory Court, Coliseum. You have, and there's others I haven't thought of. You've got Deshaun's proposal down there, which is part of Brooklyn Basin, but that's really up to Mike Gilmetti. At this stage, Gilmetti may want to step in and do something and involve Deshaun. But again, if you have a plan, don't be a hater. All right? So, Otis B says, yeah. And Donald says, Team Rebecca? Let's see here. Crawford says, too early to consider relocation. It is. It is, you know? Rick Gay says, why does Mayor Schaaf always need to make the point the A's will build a privately financed ballpark? Public money will be used in any ballpark plan. Can you say infrastructure costs? Well, we know that, but it's politics. And again, Rick, you really have to understand the degree to which housing costs here are so high that they have altered the political landscape beyond recognition. It's that bad. It's that bad. And you can blame tech and VCs and everything else. Regardless, you can also blame just not enough housing, not enough affordable housing, not enough of a supply. Supply and demand. All that put together. So that's why. And she's running for re-election. So Rob has a good idea. He says, Alameda County should consider a tax measure to help fund the ballpark. Wouldn't fly today. It wouldn't fly. Alameda getting the ballpark, that's another story. Good night, Big Eightful. Barry Lee, good night. Very strong. Rick Rice, you the man. You the man. And folks, let's see here. Rick Rice, the Titans article is fake news, and I put out the video stating that was fake news. So it's fake news. All right. So where are we? Okay. It is 11:49. Almost 12 midnight, which would make it almost, 2 o'clock? Almost 3 o'clock in the east. Yeah. All right. So I am going to go to bed. Rick Rice says, sorry, must have missed that one. My apologies. Not a problem, my friend. Not a problem. Otis B says, the Titans, yeah, I figured, I don't even want to entertain that. Donald Rich said, you say a public tax would not fly? No, it wouldn't. A public tax would not fly. It would be voted down for sports here. Look, I mean, I went up, walked the pavement and talked to people today. I mean, just regular old folk. They're not for it. They're for a privately financed stadium, but they're not for coughing up tax money for sports. The perception is, hey, look, you have billionaires, let them pay for it. Okay? So, Donald Richardson says, let us vote on it. Well, good luck with that. Because in order to get it on, I mean, look, if you want somebody to vote on it, what you need to do is you need to design an initiative and you need to get the signatures to get it on the ballot yourself. That's how you do it in California. You want this done, you carry enough, you start the process rolling, you calculate the number of signatures you need, go to a political consultant and see if you can get that person or company to help you raise money to get the signatures, and that's how you do it, okay? But if you want it done, that's how you have to have it done, okay? Corey Brown says, wasn't there an idea back in the day for a stadium in Dublin? There was. There was. Rick Rice says, Titans owner straight rejected that, though. I don't know what you're talking about. Rick Rice says, do you think Canada and Mexico might get a Major League Baseball team? Don't know. Paula says, who cares about the A's? There are more seagulls at their games than people. That's because they play in an existing stadium. That's, folks don't want to watch baseball then. Rick Ray says, okay, so this has been brought up. What does it mean about the land of the Coliseum and the A's rethinking the use of the land with respect to the Raiders and Oakland? And Rick Ray, where are you getting that from? Because the plans, if you say the A's rethinking it, that can only mean the A's rethinking the plan that was originally there that they rejected. Maybe they're rethinking that, okay? All right. Rob says the A's might have to settle for a baseball-only renovation of the Coliseum. Angel Stadium did a great one after the Rams left. Otis B says Canada has the Blue Jays. Donald Richards says, I love the A's. Baller says this is Raider country. And Donald Richards says that he cares about Oakland sports, as do I. As do I. As do I. Yes, indeed. So it is almost, Sean Grogan. Hey, Sean, how are you? He says, do you believe there will be a team that remains in the city of Oakland? Yes. Rick Grace says, isn't there 106 acres of the Coliseum available? Yes. Coliseum City. There is. Certainly is. Yes. All right. It's 11:53. And, folks, you bet your last money it's all been a Stone Gas. Love, peace, and soul, Crawford. I'm checking out. Good night, everybody. I'll see you all later. Okay. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Good night. Good night, all. See you all. Thank you. Thank you for the great questions. Watch horror movies. Keep America strong. Hey, Victor. Sorry I didn't get your question. We'll back. You the man, Rick Rice. Rick Gray. You the man. Sort of. Rick Rice really is the man. Rick Gray, you're kind of half the man. I'm just kidding. But the whole point is, wax on, wax off. Wax on, as Crawford was saying. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off, a waxer. Anyway, it's definitely bedtime. Good night, everybody. I'll see you. Good night. See ya.